Welcome, everyone, to a very special episode of the Theatre Thoughts podcast. I am back with one of my favourite artists to chat to. We have a playwright, screenwriter, and songwriter born and raised on Gadigal land, and she is an alumni of the Royal Court Writers Program, which I did not know. She's best known for writing the book, music, and lyrics for the musical Fangirls, which won the 2019 Sydney Theatre Award for Best Main Stage Musical, the 2019 Matilda Award for Best Musical or Cabaret, the 2020 Augie Award for Music Theatre, and the 2021 Green Room Award for New Australian Writing for Musical Theatre, and also scored an ARIA nomination for Best Original Soundtrack, and it's now coming to the UK. Yve Blake, thank you so much for coming back on.
Oh my gosh, Justin, not one of your favourites. Well, you're one of my favourite podcast hosts, babes.
Oh, stop.
It's mutual.
Embarrass me.
Stop it, you.
I'm so happy that you've taken the time out to chat to me because I've been following the Fangirls UK journey pretty much religiously ever since it was announced.
Thank you. Yeah, look, it's mental. I am speaking to you on Thursday, the 27th of June. So that means that we've got, gosh, less than 1 week and a half left of rehearsals, and it's mental. And when you were like, do you want to record a podcast? I thought to myself, with what time? But then I was like, no, I'm actually having the absolute time of my life, and I will want this as a time capsule because, yeah, it's really surreal. Justin, what the hell? I'm in London. How did that happen?
It's crazy. The last time I had anything to do with Fangirls, it was at the Sydney Opera House. And now you're at the Lyric Hammersmith in London, in the West End. I mean, come on.
Okay, I've got to speak on that for a little bit. So there's this fabulous thing that is happening where everyone in Australia thinks that if something's in London, then it's in the West End. But it actually is a system, not unlike Broadway, where you have Broadway theatres and off-Broadway theatres. And technically speaking, we are in an off-West End theatre. However, we have a West End producer, and we did get to perform at West End Live. So it's awfully confusing, and I just don't correct people.
Yeah.
But this is my little asterisk. This is me. Just so I've said it once.
Just so you know.
Just so you know. But you know what?
Yes,
spread that rumor.
You guys were at
Manifestation
West End Live.
babes. We were. That was mental.
I'm spreading it.
That was mental. For anyone who doesn't know, West End Live is this mental outdoor concert they do in London. And depending on who you ask, they on the internet it says 400,000 people come. I heard 70,000 people were there. And it's just this outdoor concert for people who love musicals, and it's 100% free, and you perform on this stage, and there are huge screens, and people screech when you come on, and yeah, we got to do 2 songs. It was mental. It was like being a pop star.
Which is very in tune with the show. True,
bestie. That was really cool. It was really special, actually, to see Tom is the name of the actor who plays Harry, our fake pop star, and it was pretty special to see him up there, like, really giving it to the crowd, and it really was tens of thousands of people.
It's insane. And like I said, I've been following the journey, and I'm loving just your overall energy and excitement and love for the show is palpable enough. And then, having your entire team on there, and then seeing this new cast, which are just so fully like 100% into the musical, and just seeing it from like a whole different perspective. I'm just like, this has gone from Belvoir Theatre, and now you're in London, and everyone knows it. And I'm just like, I don't know how that must feel for you personally.
Well, it's like what I'm thinking about every single day is, like, on paper, I should be quite bored of this show because it's been in my life for about 8 years now. And look, there are moments where, like in February of this year when rehearsals were months away and I was just like spit polishing tiny little lyrics and doing the 78 millionth rewrite on a scene between 2 people, where I was a bit like, oh, I have to do Fangirls the Musical again today. But then, you walk into a rehearsal room in London with and suddenly the cast isn't 7 people, it's 12 people. And of course the characters are 14. So necessarily all the actors are like 20 nothing, and for so many of them it's their first gig out of drama school, and there's just this pervasive energy in the room of like, we're doing the play, we're doing the school play, and then suddenly I don't feel like it's been in my life for 8 years. It feels like this brand new thing. And I think like what's so surreal to me is I was 21 when I started creating this project, and now that's the age of the cast in the show. but also some of the writing in the show that hasn't changed is what I wrote at that age. So I guess what I'm trying to say is it's like how it feels is really trippy, but yeah, kind of just solidly euphoric. And I don't feel how people ask me if I'm sick of it, and I go, no, surprisingly not, because it just brings these new legends
Mm.
into my life, and I feel like I've got this gift of a project that keeps me constantly reconnected to a time in my career where I was so fearless and do you remember being like 21 and like nothing in the industry had hurt you yet? So you were just like, let's go! Yay!
Mm.
I'll kick my legs so
Yep.
high, you know?
Just absolutely gunning it, just going for it.
Literally, and there's, it's amazing because something that never gets old for me is just seeing like the little wigs come out, and just seeing like the other day there was a crate on wheels that got brought into, basically like a wheelbarrow almost, that was brought into the room, that was just filled with rhinestone covered boots, and they just handed
Oh
them
my
out like party
God.
bags to each cast member. That's your boots, that's your boots. And I just sat there like, what is my job? All the pain was worth it. You know what I mean?
That's so good. And then
Really
as
good.
well, Paige, the director, have you figured out the pigeon query yet? Because I've been seeing these
Okay, we've
pigeons
got to give
popping up on
context on the
Instagram.
pod. We've got to give
Yes, give it a bit
context
of
on the pod.
context.
So, when you've written a musical and it's having its like, I mean, we've done 3 rounds in Australia, but we did a UK workshop as well. So this is kind of round 5 for us. And Paige, the director, and I have such a symbiotic relationship that when it comes to the design of the show, and frankly, a lot of decisions, I just let her cook. I don't, in the lead up to this rehearsal period, I haven't asked her to show me, like, what are you thinking for the video design there and the set there? Because I just know she's going to absolutely kill it. So I then show up in
Mm.
rehearsals and I'll just notice these little props on the side. Like yesterday, they were rehearsing a number in the show that's called Justice. And if anyone knows the show, it's like this amazing number where all these like school girls and students from across the city it's set in. And in London, that will be Sydney, because we've set it in Australia, which means we have Brits doing Australian accents, which rules. But they show up, they all gather in like a central location. And historically, like they've been holding things like they're really enraged, this group of schoolgirls. And so it's historically like one's had a baseball bat and one's had like a clarinet. But then yesterday I came in and one was just like on a scooter, and I was like, we have a scooter now. And I just saw one of the cast members like zipping around on a scooter. Wait, I got on a tangent. On the props table, there is not one but 3 fake, and I still don't know why they're there. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they're a placeholder for a different prop and they just found them in the prop store. I don't know if Paige Rattray is about to put 3 pigeons into Fangirls the Musical. I don't know, and no one will tell me. So it's actually a big feature of my Instagram stories at the moment, is me trying to get to the bottom of the pigeons. But actually, hold on, this will be, no, you can cut that out. I'm going to talk about it on my Instagram stories today. I have a clue, but it might lead to nothing. Just cut it out.
Oh, amazing. Okay. All right, cut it. But what was the thing I wanted to ask you as a writer? So you have all this amazing stuff going on, and that's right. I wanted to talk about, because I used to be a teacher. I still was a teacher on the side, and to be you've most recently been given a spot on the drama syllabus for HSC for Fangirls, and I think for me
It's
as
the
a
dream.
teacher, it's very surreal, because it's very rare that you get somebody who is on the text that is still alive, that you can actually talk to them, and actually and see, like, yes, they're still doing it, they're still actually making this. And how does that feel to have that happen?
Um, it's so surreal, Justin, because like I always say that I made this show kind of for my 14-year-old self. Like I wrote it as if like I wish I could sort of send a message in a bottle back to teenage me, and that's sort of what this whole endeavor is. So the idea that actual teenagers will study this, especially when you think about it, and like there's there's like one lyric in the show that talks about anal bleeding. There's a point where like Harry, the
Mm.
fake pop star, is singing on stage, and then a fake fan in the crowd screams out, "I want your dick," and then another fake fan screams out, "No, I want your dick." And I just go, wow, okay, really, children are the future. Let's go.
Let's
really influencing a
go.
generation there. No, it's surreal. What's crazy though is, they don't tell you. So I just was out one night. I actually was at the opening night of Groundhog Day, the musical. And me and my friends, we
Yeah.
went to McDonald's and we got a McFlurry. And suddenly my phone blew up with teachers being like, "You're on the list, girl." And yes, I had
No
no
way.
warning. No, but like it was amazing. It's amazing. I'm so excited. And then what's great is that teachers contact me with questions based on what the syllabus
Mm.
wants to know. And they're like, "So
Yeah,
how
of
does
course.
your well, I'm probably making this up, but it's like, how does your play discuss social themes in Australian society?" And I'm like, yes. Or my favorite is
Yes.
someone said, what conventions of us, what Australian wait, hold on. Someone asked me, what contemporary Australian theatre making techniques does Fangirls use? And I said,
Yes. Yes.
yes. But a teacher told me that one of the answers students could give, and I love this so much, is transformational acting. Because apparently in the original production, right, when there was 7 actors, everyone had to play like 17 different roles, and so they would have to swap wigs all the time. And like, I'm thinking about Chika Ikogwe would have to change out of being a fan into being the frenemy of the main character, at a breakneck pace. And apparently that's an Australian theatre making technique because Australian budgets are typically low, and so our actors have to be good at transformational acting
Oh my
and playing
God.
many
I
parts.
didn't even
Apparently,
think
that's what a
about
teacher said.
that.
Like multi-rolling is an Australian theatre making technique. There you go.
Wow. There you
And
go.
like, you're
I've
not
learnt
wrong because
something
in
today.
London, those are two separate parts.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, yeah,
I just
yeah.
think about Sharon Millerchip, who played the mum in the original Fangirls, and we had her in the back of
Mm.
every. She was in like every dance number, kicking her leg up to her earlobe. And yeah, now we actually just have like separate people doing separate things over here. Yeah, it's like you can have a sip of water, actually. Yeah. And wear like 17 tights underneath your jeans for quick changes. You know what I mean? I also I quite love when someone does a crazy quick change. I now have had the experience of, because I was in the original production of Fangirls, um, and I then got to experience actually the stress of a quick change, and I was like, ah, ha ha ha, fun to write, very different to perform. But I still love them. I'm still gonna keep writing them. Sorry. There's so much stuff in the UK production I can't talk about, but there are some quick changes here that are crazy, and the like the different maneuvers that our like what should I say, our design team are coming up with. There's things with magnets, there's things where you have to like pull a cord and then it unleashes a hook that like releases a harness so someone can take this thing that is harnessed to their body off. And like, yeah, I can't talk about it in specific detail, but it's so cool. Justin, it's so surreal. Justin, the floor of this set is an LED screen. We have flying LED screens, and then we on in the air, and then the floor is an LED screen, and it's like on a rake so you can see it. And then this is the okay. Look, I don't know if I sound like an ass for saying this, but I'm absolutely obsessed with the fact that the choreographer that we've got is like, do you remember Beyonce's music video for Single Ladies? And it's her and the two girlies. One of those girlies then choreographed for Beyonce 13 times. Then she became Doja Cat's basically full-time choreographer. I mean, she did her Coachella set. She just did the whole Scarlet tour that Doja's doing. And she's our choreographer. Are you joking me? Come on,
That's
Ebony
insane.
Williams. If! As
That's
if, Justin.
crazy. I saw that and I
So
was
I just
like,
feel,
no way. I was like, the
no,
Beyonce.
this is me. This the Beyonce. This is me every day. And I think like, I mean, um understandably this process is as exciting as it is nerve-wracking for me, because I didn't decide for this project to take 8 years, but that's how long it's taken. And now that we're here, I really hope it goes well. That would be very good. And that's really
Mm-hmm.
nerve-wracking. I don't know what audiences will think. I really hope they embrace it like Australian audiences did, but who knows? But you know what? Like I see Eb's dancing and like her choreography, and then I see the video design and I go, you know what? Even if people don't rate the writing, they're gonna love the dance moves. I'm sorry, they're gonna
Yeah.
love them. So it feels
Yeah.
like this incredible security blanket for me of like, I'm gonna do the best I can do, but nothing else is not playing.
Yeah, exactly. I'm so I feel things on all these levels about it, you know? I feel it on like, I'm so happy for you. I love the Australian representation. I absolutely like, and I'm going to swear here, fucking love that you've kept the Australian accents, because that was the main question I had in my mind. I went, will she cut the accents? But then I went, no, because it's very typically Australian. And I love that they're keeping them.
Well, he was a surprise to us. Like, we had this really good fortune in 2021. We did a national tour of Australia. And around that time, the rest of the world was in lockdown, basically. Like, theatre wasn't open on the West End or Broadway. So we had this incredibly lucky window where so many commercial producers were at home and they weren't busy with shows. And I think that's the reason they actually opened our emails, or emails about the show, and took an interest. And we were really lucky to have like 11 different meetings with commercial producers who wanted to discuss taking it overseas. But like, of 11 of them, 11 out of 11 were like, you're going to keep the accent, right? I was like,
Ah,
what? And I guess, I mean, you get it growing up, like, and being in love with musicals. Like, how many cast albums had an Aussie accent? None,
yeah.
I like international productions. I mean, of course, there are examples to the contrary, but mainly, I grew up in a world, and I was like, well, musicals sound American or they sound British, and I had
Mm.
painstakingly made sure every rhyme in the show was one that, like, works in different accents, and then to get that feedback was so surreal. And then, of course, our next challenge, bringing it to the UK, is like, I think all up we saw more than 2,000 people, and a huge part of that process was testing if people could sell an accent.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah,
That's yeah, right. And
but
I
but I tell
and
you what,
you
the people we've got are freaks.
oh, I heard the main actress who's playing Edna. I heard like
Jasmine
her, and I was
Alcock,
just like,
freak,
oh my God.
freak,
Yeah,
absolute
incredible.
freak.
I was
I
just
don't know what's
like, I
happened. Do
didn't
you
know
think
they were
it's because the
Australian.
young people have TikTok or something? I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They have, they maybe it's musical theatre people, and they're just, because they already sing, they can do things with their
Yeah,
voice, but they're
yeah.
freaks.
Incredible, hey? Ah, well, as much as we could talk about Fangirls all day, I want to put a pin in it, and I'd love to ask you our theatre thoughts questions, which I didn't get to ask you the last time you were on, and they're just kind of questions
Oh,
to pick
really?
your
Were we
brain
just gas
about theatre.
bagging too much?
No, no, I
Okay,
didn't
go
have them
for it.
back
I'm
then.
ready.
Okay, cool.
Oh, okay, she's upgraded.
Okay, here we go. The first question was, what has been your favourite production you've seen recently?